This video is sponsored by Dashlane. A while back, I did a video on amazing old maps, where I showed you some old maps and their inaccuracies, plus the evolution of maps until today, with the introduction of the various elements that made them better and more accurate, like longitude, latitude lines, etc. In the meantime, I found a lot more cool old maps, so today I'm going to be showing a few of those to you. Let's get started. This is Poseidons World map. It was reconstructed in 1630, but the original version dates back to the 1st century BC. Poseidonius was named after the Greek god Poseidon, and he was a Greek philosopher, astronomer, geographer, and historian, considered one of the greatest of his time. I have to say that compared to some of the early maps we saw in that previous video, this one is extraordinarily accurate, considering the time period. There's no big ridiculous things that you immediately point out as being wrong, and sure, we can see that the Iberian Peninsula sort of is disformed, the Balearic Islands being way too big, just like certain elements on the African coast. Greece is kind of too thick and Italy is too thin, plus the Black Sea is a little dislocated, but overall it's pretty good. And I think we can attribute some of the distortion to the shape of the map. Great Britain and Ireland are surprisingly accurate, although Denmark seems like a pile of two rocks on top of each other. Plus, what's this separation between Eastern Europe and Russia supposed to be? Our next map is also made by a Greek man, a merchant. His name is Cosmas Indikoploustis, which means Cosmos who sailed to India. He lived in the 6th century AD and traveled to many places in the known world at the time, especially to India for several times. He worked under the reign of Emperor Justinian of the Eastern Roman Empire, although I'm not sure if directly in his service. And so, one can assume based on his voyages, he created this world map. Now, I know what you're thinking, and I agree, what are we looking at here? Honestly, I have no idea too. The only thing I could realize is that north was up, and I'm not sure if the blue and white of the background is on purpose or if it was just the colors wearing out. My initial instinct would be that this is the Adriatic Sea and this is the Aegean Sea, making this Greece, this Anatolia, and Italy somewhere around here. We can also see the Nile somewhat clearly. But if he based the map off his trips to India, where's India? Maybe I'm looking at this wrong, but I just can't decipher it very well, so if you know, leave a comment below. Moving forward about 700 years, the Tabula Peutingeriana. This map is from the 13th century, but some say it's based off a Roman Empire map from the 4th century. And in fact, it is an ancient Roman road map, showing the layout of the Cursus Publicus, the road network of the Roman Empire. The map is gigantic, and so it's difficult to find high-resolution images of all of it. I came across one online, but it's so big that you have to split it into 11 segments in order to fit it onto your screen one by one. Still, it's pretty awesome to see Rome and all the road system of the Roman Empire, passing by certain towns and regions. The orientation of the map is very confusing. North is kind of to the left, but not always. Here we can see the south of Italy, then Greece, Constantinople, and what I think is the island of Crete. The map is named after the 16th century German antiquarian Conrad Peutinger. I'm not sure if he's the one who recreated the map or if he just bought it. Next, a 1457 world map, the Genoese Map. It relied extensively on the account of Niccolo de Conti's travels to Asia, but the author is unknown. We can actually see a Genoese flag on the top left corner. There's a lot of sea monsters spread throughout the map's oceans, and it's said that this map was sent to the Portuguese court in 1474, and then to Columbus, and this would be the map that he used to attempt to reach India through the Atlantic Ocean. But none of this is proven. The accuracy of southern Europe is remarkable, but it gets really crazy in the north with whatever this is. The Gulf of Persia is also kind of weird, just like the India coastline, which seems to not exist. And apparently he thought there was a big chunk of Asia separated by a huge river. I'm not sure. We should also note the common depicting of the Red Sea in literal red color. India is, however, better depicted in this following map, the Cantino Planisphere. It's the oldest surviving map, showing Portuguese geographic discoveries. It is named after Alberto Cantino, an agent for the Duke of Ferrara who successfully smuggled it from Portugal to Italy in 1502. It's also one of the first maps to depict the Caribbean and also the Brazilian coast. Europe is incredibly well shown with the exception of Scandinavia. It's also one of the earliest nautical charts where places in Africa and India are depicted according to their astronomically observed latitudes. Africa is very accurate. India is okay, but Indochina seems too exaggerated. And the Red Sea is also red in this one. However, big chunks of America and Asia plus all of Oceania are still missing. It really seems as if some of these early maps had trouble filling out all the spaces in their maps. But hey, do you know what helps you in filling out things? That's right, today's sponsor, Dashlane. Using Dashlane, you can autofill all your personal info and payment details whenever you use a website that requires filling out these fields. It also allows you to easily manage passwords, alerts you whenever an account is compromised, and much more. On a scale of 1 to 10, how smooth was this integration? Now, let's get back to the maps. This next one presents a totally different shape than we're used to. It's not really any of the typical map projections. This is the Bunting Cloverleaf map from 1581. In the center is the city of Jerusalem, surrounded by the 3 continents. America is at a distance, still mostly undiscovered. England is also separate from Europe's leaf, just like Denmark. The map is a figurative illustration in the manner of the medieval map format, depicting the world in a clover shape. Some say that the shape is a symbolization of the Christian Trinity, but I'm not sure. In fact, this other map, the AppStore Map, found in 1843 but dating back to medieval times, follows one of the same principles, being centered on Jerusalem. We can also see Christ at the top center, and text around the map includes description of animals, the creation of the world, also having an explanation of how the world is divided into 3 parts, like the previous Clover-Leaf map. Now, the previous one isn't the best example because it purposefully depicted the world in a different shape, but we can see that in the 16th century, there was still a lot of difficulty in making maps accurate, but this didn't last for long. This map is supposed to be from the late 1700s, and it shows us Southeast Asia, plus some parts upper north. The amount of detail in this is amazing. Indochina, Indonesia, China, Korea, and Japan have all the roads, rivers, towns, and provinces mapped and labeled. I posted a link in the description with the high-resolution pictures for all of these maps, so if you want, check this one out. It's incredible how far you can zoom in and see everything in detail. I couldn't find the origin of the map, but it's in French, so I assume the author was from France, and here on the bottom it says it was made for the Duke of Orleans. But we weren't always able to depict lands in their fullest detail, like this example of a map, showing us undiscovered Australia, still labeled as Hollandia Nova. It shows the western coastline actually in great detail, and Tasmania also seems to be shown, and even a little bit of the southeast coast. But in between, I guess because they just didn't know what was there, was a blank space, giving us the idea that there was a possibility of the land just being prolonged, in the extent of maybe a full new continent, which, as we know today, doesn't exist. So those are a few more old maps that I find incredible, either because of the strange form in which they depict the world, the crazy ways they showed some parts of it, and the incredible detail that some of them were able to achieve even before modern tools. And hey, speaking of modern tools, here's one you guys will appreciate. Do you know those times when you want to log in to a website you haven't used in a while, so you try 500 different passwords until you finally cave and change it, and then it tells you that the new password can't be the same as the old one, and you feel like destroying your computer? Well, with Dashlane, that won't happen. Dashlane is a password and digital life manager that offers you a range of services that make your online experience much better and trouble-free. Their services go from password generation, creating strong and complex passwords that make sure your accounts are safe. With autofill, you have an automatic login on well-known websites, form filling in one click, like a shipping address on an e-commerce page, and payment information autofilling on a checkout page. Summing it up, using Dashlane allows you to not waste time. It makes your online experience easier, and most of all, keeps your financial and personal info and data safer. I partnered with them for this video, so if you go to dashlane.com/knowledge, you can download Dashlane for free on your first device and get a free premium trial for 30 days. Plus, if you use the promo code KNOWLEDGE, you get 10% off the first year, giving you access to the VPN across all devices. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, remember to subscribe, and if you have any suggestions for new videos, leave a comment below. Remember to check out Dashlane through the link in the description, and I will see you next time.